right now. We're waiting for our buddy Jason to log in. We are usually going to have Gerald to be pretty regular, but it doesn't seem that he's available today. That's not passive aggressive. That's just facts. Um, Brian's live with us today. We're going to be doing a bunch of different tweaks here and there. You can follow us. This is just going to be a bunch of troubleshooting and talking and more troubleshooting and talking. We don't expect much, but it's going to be cool to catch up. The purpose of our channel is just to go over some really hot topics that we've read in different news articles over the week and to kind of catch up as I live in Texas now and Brian still lives from my hometown up in Seattle. And we just hope to stay in touch and make sure that whatever we do, we're not wasting time. So this is a good excuse to do something maybe a little bit more purposeful. So we got today, and the first topic is that Brian wanted to talk about Peggy ratings. It's going to be a little bit of a hot topic today because they've not only done something with the ratings, but they've also done something with some gambling laws and such. So Brian's going to be introducing us to that and kind of tell me what that's all about because I don't know anything. I have no clue what's going on. So what'd you hear? Yeah, they're in there on the third shelf. Sorry. Right. Like a category? No. Yeah. No. I'll give it a second. Brian, you cut out. We're just waiting for it to. Okay. Right. So let's take a second. Jason is logging in. He's going to be getting his video and audio all set up. It's what's the temperature like over there? Yeah, that's weird. He's got a fan going on in the background. It must be pretty hot in his little basement. So right now, Jason, to catch you up, as you get everything set up, lighting and video focus and all that kind of stuff, take your time. But we're talking about Peggy ratings. It's the Brian has just explained to me that it's the European version of ESRB. You're probably familiar. and that they're instituting a gambling category to their rating system. So simulated gambling, and he was going off of that. Continue. I can't hear you. Are you mute? Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, really? Right. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, see, I didn't even take I didn't even interpret that perspective. They have other interests that they're protecting. Yeah, because that could get pretty big, right? This affects mobile gaming as well. It has to, like, eventually. Yeah, right. Um, that so that started. That's kind of weird because that started a long time ago. Because we were the biggest things we when Destiny first came out, there were already there was already conversation about, and I might have timing wrong, but like uh, Borderlands, their loot box system. Destiny had a loot box system, and it just kept being a bigger and bigger thing. I think Diablo, right? That was a loot box system at some point. You're the expert on Diablo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it seemed like they were working backwards, where it's the actual gambling games that would be the culprits. That they would just say, hey, like you can't be doing that. That's like straight up gambling. You're allowing that kids to do that. What's that video in the background, Jason? Boring. Love it. Uh, but we were just talking about Naruto. We'll get to that later. But they uh, they kind of worked backwards. They kind of worked on the little detail loot box guys instead of the actual gambling games that were marketing to kids sometimes. You see that in mobile games all the time, and Android's really done a good job. The Google Play Store kind of develop the Google Gaming or whatever. Android gaming, I forget what it's called now. They've changed so much, but they've done a pretty good job of developing and started cracking down and creating a system for that kind of stuff. But they're still behind because there's a lot of mobile games out there that's allowing kids to go on their little Android tablets and do whatever they please. Oh my. Yeah. Are you talking about yourself? No, no. I've spent some. Yeah. 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 No, I make jokes about it all the time. Like you see guys doing, they're at professional sports now. They're like events that have in greater communities where you go like they're yeah, like at the bottom line, it's like some guys going, "Hey, I bet you can't do this," and a guy going, "I bet you I could," and then escalating from there to where guys are breaking each other's arms. They're putting all their whole paycheck on it. They're doing all this kind of stuff that just seems stupid to the outsiders, but you get sucked in real quick. It's that competitive nature, right? I I've watched people. I've watched coworkers and stuff play, gambling games. That no real money, no nothing. Um, well, in their free time, just kind of just taking a spin on things, and it just gives them that little extra, piece of what is it, dopamine, Jason, to where they're just like, it does it for them. And then Brian, you and I have gone to church with a guy who used to do poker. online poker, he'd have like windows up, like multiple poker matches up at a time where he's like making money off of 'em, like legit money, like a livelihood off of poker. So yeah, no, it's it. Uh, if you really, yeah, yeah, I see it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like I was on my layover for Dave's wedding. David's going to be our fourth at some point, hopefully soon in the next few months. He's going to be our fourth guy, but we'll see how it all plans out. So I was going, just flying up to Seattle for his bachelor party, and had a layover. Like we're talking about legit six. I think it was a 6 hour layover in Vegas, and they had slots in the airport. And I had some cash on me, right? You know this is going. And I put 20 down, and I just kept going through it. And I was like, hey, as long as I don't lose the 20. And I got up at one point to like 180. I was like, dude, I am good. I am doing good with this. And then I lost it all, including the 20. And I was like, I gotta at least get my 20 back, right? So, bottom line, out of after everything, there was about 3 rounds of everything, and it took me about, I think, about 3 hours. And I could say I relate to this whole mindset of, it's an addictive thing. Like, and I'm not saying like, it's necessarily negative or poisonous, but it is addicting. And certain things can be, you know, negative addictions or, positive addictions. But I, uh, I did end up making like 120 bucks. I won 120 bucks when everything came out, not including that $20. And that was positive, but I could see real quick towards the end, like, this is gonna rope me in. This is gonna be bad for me. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, when we were having Dave? Oh yeah, Dave talks about that sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Oh, it just makes more character on your end. Yeah. If you get a light on your left side behind you somewhere, it'll kind of neutralize some of that. Nah, you just have a little shine on your face. Yeah, yeah. I'm so close to the camera. It's just dark now. It's a shadow. You just look low rent. What were we talking about? The Peggy rating, yeah. Yeah, so like these kids are playing Android games and stuff like that, and you get us who are very, adults who are totally realize this, how vulnerable just human nature is to addictive, involvement. And yeah, yeah, it's weird, man. It's a little weird. Right. Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, I could put that's a whole reason why they put regulation on these things because we want to protect and shelter the children from that kind of stuff. But I also get the other side where people want, the law's hands in video game and entertainment like that. Because we play Red Dead. Red Dead is like one of the biggest games. Like when we play anything, we love the gambling in that game, right? We don't really have to worry about like losing too much, because we could just go off and ride our horse and rob somebody else. But um, then you got Gwent. Gwent is going to be affected by that, right? Witcher 3. Um, mhm. But it would like then if they were to ever re-release it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, weird. That's weird. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's weird. Um, mhm. Okay. Right.
You wanted honey, barbecue on it. I just sent
Thank
you
you.
all the bacon and stuff at the bottom.
Cool. Thank you.
Sorry, very well, right?
That's okay. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, and like just as a additional input, I figured that Microsoft's gotten really cool with that kind of stuff. They got Microsoft Family now, where you can actually load like all of the girl because I six girls, which basically means that I have to keep track of every account because they're all if I have just one account, all their kind of achievements and stuff get messed up and everything. And so I can actually, if I would like, which I do not do, at a per account to where I can put money on their account as an allowance or something, and they can spend that however they'd like. And I can even turn on an approval system to where before they spend it, they have to get my approval for something. That's cool. I mean, like in any other case, I wouldn't know that if I didn't have girls and I didn't look into that kind of stuff. But sorry, didn't have kids, but. So let's move from the Peggy ratings. We're gonna stay on video games. I think this almost this whole entire video. But we have next. I wanted to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Splinter Cell has been. I think it's been something like 12, 12 years, 10 years since the last edition of that. Brian, you gonna pull that up? Um, I think it was Splinter Cell Conviction, right? Am I right? Did you ever play those, Jason? Yeah. They take a lot of uh, focus and investment, that's for sure. Blessed. Yeah, dude, it's been what's that? 8 years? It seems like longer. It seems like a child's lifetime. So, um, there's been rumors over the past couple of years that it's time. Like, why wouldn't they? They have Ghost Recon, they got Rainbow Six, and they have. Oh man, you guys are gonna to really dock me for this one. What's the third? Ghost Recon, because they came out with Rainbow Six. There's a third one out there. I forget what it's called. And then Splinter Cell. And there's all these like really successful IPs that intellectual properties that have made a lot, seemingly made a lot of money for Ubisoft, but they haven't said anything about Splinter Cell since they actually announced a movie. I think it was something like 6 or 7 years ago. Tom Hardy's supposed to play Sam Fisher, and then you have nothing else, literally nothing. I know Tom Hardy's actually gone in and filmed some scenes. I've read that somewhere, but I haven't heard anything from that movie. I don't think there has been much. There's the IMDb page for the movie, but there's not much out there on updates for that. Yeah. So the news, really, the real topic of conversation here is not Splinter Cell itself, but because of the absence of Splinter Cell, we have copycats coming out with one of the first like straight up copycat. They're actually marketing it as a straight up copycat is a game called Spectre. You guys can click the link in the sheet, the topic sheet. But Spectre is supposed to be a kind of a Splinter Cell inspired, almost a Splinter Cell rooted game, to where you're going to be able to complete missions through with an organization, get in, get out, basically complete the mission, get out, and all stealth oriented, black suits, goggles, all that kind of stuff. Um, there's there's a naughty joke in there somewhere. But if you guys read that article and see what Spectre is, it looks I'm kind of hyped. Spectre, not only I'll actually read off so I don't do butcher the article, but GamesRadar.com, they are saying that I'm waiting for the link to open here. So they published a little while ago, September 3rd. Today, um, our video is being recorded on September 19th. That two Splinter Cell superfans are recreating the franchise's iconic spies versus multiplayer component in a new game, Spectre. And then they reference IGN and their developer saying that it's that the multiplayer mode in Spies versus Mercs in the last four Splinter Cell games has been really popular. We're talking, it started in the original Xbox. It's been, I believe it was the original Xbox, and then Xbox 360 and Xbox One. No, there hasn't been a Splinter Cell for Xbox One, but Xbox 360, they were hugely popular. This is before all the DLC and all of the loot and different microtransactions stuff in game that has really kind of bogged down pure multiplayer dynamics. They're inspired by those things: Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory, Double Agent, and Blacklist. They cite objectives differ different iterations, but each time stealth-focused spies fought against action-based mercenaries. And what they're saying is that this game, they feel that Blacklist took some of the magic away from making the spies a lot deadlier and making the gameplay a lot faster. And it was fast. I'm telling you, look up on YouTube some of the gameplay for Spies vs. Mercs. I couldn't play the last two iterations. I couldn't. I tried. I failed hard. These guys were like good. And this is me like in my late teens. So he says, I feel like it removes some of the classic slower paced, nail biting experience that stealth games used to offer. Yeah, because it was run and gun. Like you would knock when you're an operative, you'd knock a guy out, and the guy you had to knock him out from behind because if you couldn't, he would just kind of fall back if you tried to knock him out from in front of him, and like it was just overpowered. All those mercs, they could just blah blah, you're dead, and you just crumple to the floor and like as a rag doll. Um, he says we aim to have that feeling return in Spectre. So I imagine in my mind the type of game where you're literally just nail biting, creeping, crawling, lurking in the shadows of your opponent, your best buddy, who's like, "Dude, where are you?" And he's just giggling to himself, right? And you throw a little camera that makes a noise, and he's like, "I found you," and you come up behind him and just choke him out, right? And that's the type of gameplay that people like. People actually like to have purely stealth games. And I haven't played that one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really. Uh, you you play stealth games, Jason? Oops. Oh yeah. Where is it? Sorry. While we're talking, I'm trying to integrate the uh, the link that the message link. There it is. Mm. Yeah, I go ahead. Oh yes, that's a good one. That's difficult, real difficult. Did you did you play that with friends? Oh, we should have played that, man. That was good. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I hated in that game where they would be on a route to just patrol, and sometimes they would have random patrol routes. It would just, or more complex, where it would be a very consistent patrol route three times, and the fourth route would just be like something completely different. So you would watch them. You're like, okay, it's consistent. They're going to be walking the same way. I don't. I'm safe over here. And you lay down. It would take you like 5, 10 minutes to line up a shot somewhere. Move a little this way, move a little that way, get your heartbeat down, all this other stuff, and then you would just like completely get screwed over by this guy just walking behind you. You hear footsteps, and it's like too late. It's already too late. He's spotted. That was a good game. That was a really good game. I appreciated that gameplay in Ghost Recon. That's how bad that game. Not even Wildlands. What was the last one? That's how badly that game was named. Breakpoint. That's a terrible name for a game. First of all, no one remembers. Yeah, it was good. It was a good game, but that they had that type of stealth. It was too. There was some things missing for consequence. Um, it just seemed too forgiving sometimes, and then too unforgiving at other times. So that yeah, there was no stealth. Yeah, there's very little stealth. Yeah, you get bored. Yeah. You Leroy Jenkins it. Yep. Yeah. 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 Both of you guys, all you guys have a penchant. If you get bored, you'll just turn on your teammate, blast them with the shotgun. That's I've experienced. Yeah. Oh man, because I'm always trying to stay on mission. Um, yeah, that that I'm looking forward to Spectre. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with multiplayer because you know that they have a lot going for them. There's a huge stealth gap in gaming and especially multiplayer gaming. And if they can fill that hole, they'll have a really successful IP on their hands that we'll be looking forward to following iterations of. This one though, this first initial iteration is going to be the most important for them. Jason? Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a winning concept, that's for sure. I try it out. Oh, really? Is that what we were talking about, Brian? As the launch was pretty sketchy? Yeah. Hmm. Mhm. Oh, what Saitama? So stupid. Yeah, yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, so, going off of um, video games and ridiculousness, um, did you? It looks like we don't have any video game topics except for what I have in store, so we'll talk about one more and we'll move on to something that Jason wanted to talk about. Um, so, ridiculousness. It looks like Star Wars has dropped EA as their developer. Their contract ended or something rather, and they are now going with a new. And this is kind of old news as far as this week, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake for the PS5, and the developer who's doing it is going to be Lucasfilms. Lucasfilms, correct? Is it Lucasfilms Games or something like that? No way. Brian is our resident video game professor, so he'll be leading most of these. Hmm. Ah, so cool. Yeah, because they've already released the Apple versions of those. I was really jealous. My brother played through both Apple versions of KOTOR, Nice Little Republic, and those seem to be pretty well. He said they kind of maintained some of the bugginess the original games had, but they were still pretty good fluid ports. You play them, Jason? Right? They're so old. They're so freaking old. uh, we're talking about 2003. We're really leaning into the Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys era, where everyone was still focused on Mad Catz controllers. You remember those? Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now you can't find any Mad Catz or Pelican, third party brands. There's been some others to take their place, but no licensing crap. Yeah, right. Anyways, getting off of that rabbit trail. If Star Wars, wait, what do you got? Well, hold on, let's finish this. I just wanted to talk about how this is going to be a Star Wars exclusive. If you want any way to piss off gamers more, is to make it not for the system that they play. I'm good then. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, all better, all's forgiven. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Oh yeah. Hmm. All right, go ahead. Yeah, I just I was a little peeved to hear that it was just PS5 exclusive. You know, like I'm an Xbox guy. I've always bought Xbox since the original. I've had a PS4 before, didn't play it ever. I ended up selling that. And then you went with PS4, right? You started with PS4, having dual consoles, no PS3 then? Uh, yeah. Because you've always had kind of actually now that I'm thinking back, you've always had dual consoles. You've had a PS1 and a PS2, then you got the original Xbox with it all. I'm not saying first. I'm just starting from PS1 days. Yeah, that's a huge jump. Hmm. Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Uh, but as everyone knows, there's been too many exclusive for PlayStation. They've been really scoring high. They're like the best. They're the all-star hitter when it comes to exclusives. And Xbox is trying to get on that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had nothing on that. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, they've always been like golden nuggets, right? Um, the real reason we talked about all that is because PS5 is doing Star Wars, the Star Wars KOTOR. But I guess from what you're saying, Brian, uh, Aspire is not the only developer going to be doing these Star Wars games. They just opened it up and they rebooted Lucasfilm. Uh, uh, Maybe not even a derivative of the old LucasArts developer. What? Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of developers doing different IPs, the original PUBG developers have announced Prologue. Ryan, you're the one that did that topic, and Jason, you're interested in it. What do you got, Brian? Me and Jason have had a lot of fun playing PUBG, all right? So you be careful. Know your fan base. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, no. And the point is that with the team based gameplay, it shouldn't matter. It's like you always have people who have different strengths and stuff, and you end up have like some sort of threshold. If you can't hack it, there's- you guys hear that? Okay, good. Oh no, no, it's just I have the video on screen right now, and it started the audio, so I could hear it, but you guys couldn't. But there's a certain threshold in team gameplay that if you can't hack that threshold, if you can't meet that threshold, then you're pretty much the fourth wheel or something rather, and you always lag behind, always trying to catch up and stuff. I've been that guy. I know we've all been that guy. It's really frustrating, but usually when you haven't played the game enough, you're that guy, Brian. And you've had yeah, right, right, right. That you're, you're literally describing the nature of the gameplay. Yeah. Excluding fixing the gameplay. Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's what I was looking for. That's right. Yeah. Mhm. You thought you were in the buggy. You start driving off. You're driving for like 15 seconds, and suddenly you're on your hands and your knees. And you're like, "What happened?" Oh man, it's so weird too, because that's actually creates the biggest frustration within online gamers is that you literally have things that you A plus B equals C, right? And that's not always the case because the freaking coding is all crapped up. The the thing with Prologue though is that it's supposed to be something completely different. Is that right? And this is PUBG Corp. This is the guy who actually started the actual development of you, right? Not Bluehole Studio, who owns PUBG right now. Right. Wait, wait. Hold on. Is this the guy? Is this the guy who said at some point we talked about it a long time ago that said I don't like PUBG made me not like video games. I don't like making video games anymore. And then he pieced out, right, and sold the company or something rather. Is that the same guy? All right, we'll follow up next time. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. Yeah. 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 Mhm. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because this game, it seems like The Verge is saying it's called Prologue and it'll be a pay what you want tech demo designed to illustrate the kinds of games that Brendan Green, the guy that we're talking about, wants to build next. So it's kind of like well, hold on. We want to create, he says, he's quoted, we want to create realistic sandbox worlds on a scale that's seldom attempted. Worlds hundreds of kilometers across the thousands. This, does it sound like Molyneux? It sounds like Molyneux, right? Kilometers across the thousands of players interacting, exploring, and creating, he says. Green says his new team has a I'm sorry, has built a neural network that can generate massive realistic worlds at runtime. Now, for people who don't understand what that means, that's a huge endeavor. That takes a massive amount of RAM and a lot of computation process for any server to like facilitate for players to be involved in. He continues, each and every time you press play, each and every time you press play, massive realistic open worlds at runtime, each and every time you press play, calling it a breakthrough. So he must think he's on to something that other developers don't have. And that prologue will be a simple introduction to an earlier iteration of our technology. That's that's a lot, right? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he could be like a Molyneux type. Worked with the small, was it Lionhead or Lionheart Studios, right? Yeah, and he was a small developer overseeing a team. He's kind of an A type, he's a businessman. He owns a small business, creating games and stuff, and then he ends up becoming ridiculously large over a short period of time, and he's looking for his next step. And so Brendan Green might be in a situation where financially strapped, he's got a short future ahead of him as far as planning, and he's looking for some investors, right, for his next iteration. So he starts a small little side project that has huge, promising worlds of stuff, and then he's going to disappoint us all. Meanwhile, getting great investors for his next project. Um, Space game. We're talking about you played a couple space games. Which one were you thinking? No, Prologue. It just released. Star Citizen. No, Lionhead with Peter Molyneux was that the guy was yeah the guy who Fable all the a couple of the Fables or whatever. I laugh because it's hilarious. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, no. Yeah. Even with a lot of games that we've played already, their version of that was that they would actually you do it right, like planting a seed, and then you would actually come back to that seed later, and it would measure the time that you've been gone, and then you'd see a different animation or a different a construction of that tree in that same spot later. But it was never seeing the progress of that tree. It was just seeing snippets of it. And so you would come back to, like Skyrim did that, to where you would come back to the same thing and you'd see something different, but it was only because it recognized that you were there at a different time. None of this, and none of video games are real time, any type of growth development. Hmm. Right. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, we know nothing about that, so you got the whole helm there. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. I'm streaming. No.